Morris wrote a long poem after his release from the jails and prisons of New York State. It's 6.5 pages long. It's divided into strophes of varying length. The two I have selected to read to you are the ones that are about his relationship with his wife. This is probably an aspect of his life that's not going to have received that much attention today, which in one sense this is appropriate, but in another it is also true that, speaking as someone who knew him well for many years, there is nothing that was more central to his life than the beauty and intensity of the lifelong love affair he had with his wife, Sonia, his wife of 62 years. The first of these describes her weekly visit. The second describes the letters he wrote to her every day. The title of the poem, by the way, is Time Done, and the theme of time runs throughout it, as it does through, I expect, the experience of every prisoner. Time for the visit, the week's eager climax. Sonia comes, she comes, wife. Tender, fearful, tense companion, visitor now. Sentenced, though not named by the judge. Eyes and hands locked, uttering what uniform cannot overhear. In a room full of whispering, troubled couples and noisy families, we, chairs discreetly placed, decorous, when indiscretion and indecorum pump the blood, affection rationed by vigilant uniformed eye and regulation harshly voiced. Clock hands now racing, ungeared to the mind's weekly reluctance, geared to the merciful, merciless sun, objective, unerring, natural clerk of time. Suddenly, always suddenly, guard announces, pronounces, in uniform voice, visits are over. Over and over and over. Time and time and time. Until the time of visits ended brings the time of joined life and home. But now, climaxed in the weekly, confused, mournful, desperate kiss. And then the catastrophe. Once more, another week and another of doing time. About the letters. The necessary, refreshing, daily ritual of communication. Letters. Letter received, letter read, letter reread. Rites of spring, hymn to joy in the ninth, fugue and toccata, Leningrad victory symphony, sometimes I feel like a motherless child, cantorial chant. All these and more in the daily letter. Written in love and anguish, read in anguish and love. Letter daily written on the small, cold metal table, window bars at my back. Form to be properly filed, or letter doesn't get sent. My name, number 3249, shop kitchen, written by, and number. Address to Mrs. Sonia, street, city, state, and the routine indelicate question, relationship. And the monosyllable formal, wife. The daily proud recording of the permanent beautiful fact. Letter always beginning, beloved, always ending, love, plus the panoply of regulation, full name and number 3249. Letter beginning and ending, but excluding the intimate names and appellations foolish. Bashful and proud before the prison censor's protruding eye. Excluding darling and sweet and sweetheart and dear one and dearest. Excluding the lovely, lovable Sonia name with the O always long, so. Excluding and omitting the unrelenting, increasing weight of confinement and separation. Omitting the longing daily renewed and daily checked with daily greater effort. Omitting the self-surprising sigh, the stare abstracted in the cool, weak tea shared at the mess table, lonely for 10. Omitting, seeking to hide the ever-present premises from her who reads omissions with love's own eyes. Omitting and omitting, maybe not omitting enough. Storing all tenderness and passion unspent, shelving them in the restless mind, repressing them in the tight nerve until they shall tear with rough strife. When, unkennelled from bars but still leashed on parole, we meet again, release day, in privacy disallowed, while doing time.
Carol was Morris's right hand for many years, and the sole production manager of Jewish Currents. She started a column called Jewish Women Now in the 1970s. Is that right, Carol?
1980s. The column was begun by Regina Krummel.
Oh, okay.
In the early 1980s. I took it over when I returned from China in 84.
84, okay. Oh, so I actually wrote for Jewish Currents for the first time in 81. And I started reading her column, and one of the things that inspired me to write this piece, we're going to do two excerpts from my musical portrait of Emma Goldman, which actually had two performances at Queens College in 1990. The very first performance that Helene and I did of it in Manhattan together was another command performance from Morris Schappes on his 80th birthday, May 3rd, 1987. This is about the anarchist Emma Goldman, who's in Europe, as I was when I was writing this, trying to get back to America from exile. And we're doing two excerpts.